Top of the morning and happy Sunday, Washington Commanders Nation. I've held out on this video for quite some time, but it's time to talk about it. Washington desperately needs some help in the cornerback room. Let's pod.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
So, Washington completed another preseason football game last night at Hard Rock Stadium versus the Miami Dolphins. And while you can never pull or take too much away from preseason reps when it comes to the NFL, it's very clear that Washington's cornerback room is the weakest room on the roster, even weaker than our tackle or any position on the offensive line. And this is excluding kicker because we don't have one of those on the roster right now. So that's not what I need to talk about. Skill positions, football playing positions, cornerback is very important. Corner is a top three position in football to me. Second hardest position in the league, but if you don't have corners in a passing league with all these amazing wide receivers, even the rookie class of wide receivers are an absolute fucking nightmare. I don't know where you start. You better have the greatest pass rush in the world, or it's going to spell trouble for your defense on a regular basis. While I trust the guys running the defense now, Joe Witt Jr. and Dan Quinn, they've showed they can make stew out of a shit sandwich and they can turn unknowns into superstars, especially in the secondary. They've made defenses better everywhere they've went in their career, but the cornerback room minus Mikey Sanders still, have we heard one positive about these guys all summer? Like, let's sit back for a second, guys. We've followed every practice this team has had, every joint practice, and both preseason games so far. How many positive anecdotes have we seen about Benjamin St. Juice and Michael Davis? Throw Emmanuel Forbes in that mix because it's a smorgasbord of mid in our quarterback room right now. Mikey Sanders still is the only adequate cornerback on the roster at the current moment. And going into week one, that is nightmare fuel. It's to the point where we have to sit back and look at ourselves and say, do we need to put little ass Mikey on the outside because what we have out there is not good enough? Once again, we don't have a lot of speed in the outside corner room, not a lot of instincts, no playmakers between Michael Davis, Emmanuel Forbes, and Benjamin St. Juice last year. 3 interceptions. You know who had 3 interceptions last year? Someone still on the street and one of the better remaining free agent cornerbacks that there is right now, Akello Witherspoon, going into his age 29 season after leading the Rams in defensive snaps last year. You're not going to find a first team all pro on the market mid-August, but there is definitely still some talent at the quarterback room available, and I don't know what we're waiting for at this point. Another one bites the dust. Stephon Gilmore, someone who played in Dan Quinn's defense last year, signs a 1-year contract today with the Minnesota Vikings. 1 year, $10 million contract. That's a drop in the bucket for a team with the top 3 amount of cap in the league, us. After an injury to Mekhi Blackman and the tragic death of DMV native Kyrie Jackson, the Vikings desperately needed a corner. You know what they did? They went out and signed a cornerback because they currently need one on their roster. What are we waiting for at this point? I've now watched 2 preseason games where I have not heard any of our starting cornerbacks make a play yet. None of them, I've not seen one in position to make a play on a ball yet. And for the second week in a row, one of our starting corners got mixed up and scored on by someone who's not going to make an NFL roster. River Craycraft off the ball puts Benjamin St. Juice's ankles in a blender, catches a touchdown on him. Last week, Emmanuel Forbes got a touchdown scored on him on a similar play, fade ball back corner by Jason Brownlee of the Jets.
Who are these niggas?
We getting scored on by Bama's name River and Jason Brownlee. Who even are these guys? Like, what are we talking about right now? And Michael Davis, who's supposed to come over here and start, while St. Juice and Forbes and Michael Davis, they fit the profile of a Dan Quinn corner. They got length to them. They've got size, but where are the natural instincts and ball skills on this team? And what do we have on the roster that's stopping us from bringing in an Akello Weatherspoon, an Xavier Howard, or what was stopping us from signing Stephon Gilmore? Did Dan Quinn and Joe Witt not have a good relationship with Stephon Gilmore? Because that seemed like an easy pairing for Washington to make, considering it was the last defense Stephon played in, and he was actually pretty good last year in that defense. A little bit of a head scratcher. I'm not sure what type of Band-Aid we need to throw on this cornerback room right now, but it's desperately seeking one. There are holes all over this cornerback room. I've still yet to see a good amount of snaps of our safety room with Jeremy Chin and Quan Martin. Quan Martin looked solid yesterday, but the secondary concerns me because of this cornerback room. It ain't going to be River Craycraft and Jason Brownlee lined up running the ones on September 8th when we go down to Tampa Bay. It's going to be Mike Evans, future probably Hall of Fame receiver, Chris Godwin and company, a playoff football team, and a quarterback named Baker Mayfield who can distribute the pill to both guys. I don't know if this is going to cut it trotting this out there week one. Even old ass, washed, rinsed, and tumbled dry Patrick Peterson may be better than what we have on the outside of this cornerback room right now. J.C. Jackson is a name I would cross off the list because he is a walking injury, physically unable to perform designation. He's faced injury after injury the last few years of his career. I don't know if I'm taking a chance on that, but Akello Witherspoon, Xavier Howard, even Patrick Peterson, bring them in. Bring them in at this point. We're experimenting with niggas like Martavis Bryant, who haven't played football in 6 years, who we know are not going to make the final roster. Why don't we bring somebody in the cornerback room? Maybe we go back out there, Adam Peters, we bring the pro personnel, we have a meeting, and we just start calling around the league and seeing what disgruntled cornerbacks are available. Maybe we hit up Cleveland again. Yo, remember when Greg Newsome didn't want to play for y'all this offseason? Is that still the case? Does he still want to start for somebody else? Because not only will we trade for him, we will extend him before even seeing him play. We need a corner that bad, y'all. We need a difference maker on the outside. We drafted Emmanuel Forbes to be one. Correction, the last regime drafted Emmanuel Forbes to be one. He talks the talk. He wears the jewelry. He has the social media fingers of a cornerback that is a difference maker. Will he be one? The jury is still out, to be determined, but we've seen no signs of such. Benjamin St. Juice is walking mid-grade. He's mid-grade fuel. I don't see any world where he becomes premium, even though I think he's the perfect fit for Dan Quinn and Joe Witt's scheme. I don't see a legitimate number one corner. Michael Davis, we like to gloss over this and we like to look past it. We're bringing in a guy to start at corner who gave up 8 or 9 touchdowns last year himself on the Los Angeles Chargers defense. So in what world is this a good enough cornerback room going into week one? The offensive line is going to be fine. While it concerns me, Andrew Wiley and Brandon Coleman not getting out on that field yet, I think the scheme, the backs, I think the interior of the line, and I think the quarterback is going to be enough to survive that. On the defensive side, I think on the front seven, our interior, and it's clearly we did our job on the middle of the field of this football team. It's the exterior, it's the outside where we're going to have issues. I think Dorrance Armstrong, Cleveland Farrell, Dante Fowler, KJ Henry, and company are going to get enough pressure on quarterbacks, but I don't think we have the dogs to defend elite receivers right now. Look at our schedule, bro. So we open up against Tampa. That's Godwin and Evans season. Week 2, Malik Neighbors. Week 3, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Lord Jesus, pray for this cornerback room. Adam Peters, it's time to work the phones. Let's see if there's a disgruntled cornerback somewhere league-wide. We brought you in and we're paying you the big bucks to be the general manager. It's time to make magic happen in the middle of August because we're 3 weeks away from Washington's season opener at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it is the stuff out of my nightmares imagining Mike Evans being guarded by Emmanuel Forbes week 1. I don't like that at all. It terrifies me. Washington, please do something. Let me know what cornerback interests y'all. Is it Ahkello Witherspoon? Is it Xavier Howard? Do we go try to get someone at the end of their rookie contract seeking a deal? Go try to make a trade with Cleveland for Greg Newsome or someone. Stephon Gilmore is off the market. 1 year, $10 million deal to the Minnesota Vikings. Washington's cornerback room desperately needs a boost. That's all I got for right now. Thank you to everybody who tuned into my watch party and post-game stream last night. 1 more week of preseason left. Officially 3 weeks away from today, Washington will be opening the season at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay, Florida, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's all I got for right now. Until next time, hail to the Washington Commanders. Commander Rio, out.